Welcome. I'm Keith Lowcamp, Senior Director of Healthcare Industry Strategy at Workday. At our recent sixth annual Workday Healthcare Summit, we announced the 2020 winners of our Healthcare Innovation Awards. The awards celebrate the success and creativity of our healthcare customers and the impact they have on the rest of the Workday community. We announced winners across four categories: digital transformation, trailblazer, process innovation, and collaboration champion. We received so many great submissions, and each winner really excelled in their innovation. I'm excited to have Kevin Villette, Director, HRIS and Data Management, and Missy Sparks, Vice President, Talent Management at Ochsner Health, join me to celebrate their recognition as this year's Digital Transformation winner. The Digital Transformation Award highlights the use of Workday solutions and technologies to digitally transform operations and not just make improvements to existing IT infrastructure or existing business practices or processes. Welcome, Missy and Kevin, and congratulations.
Thank you, Keith.
You're welcome. So, Missy, can you say a few words about your organization and your role?
Sure. First of all, Keith, thank you for the recognition. We really do appreciate it. On behalf of Ochsner Health, we are excited by this honor. And our organization is 31,000 team members strong and growing. And we cover all of Louisiana and moving into Mississippi. And we were really looking for a solution to transform our previous practice for annual performance evaluation and merit, tying it into a seamless system and moving it from an anniversary date to a focal point, because we really believe that would give our leaders some needed time back and align better our front line with our own organizational goals for the annual period.
Great. And Kevin, could you introduce yourself and your role?
Sure. My name is Kevin Villette. I'm the Director of HRIS and Data Management here at Ochsner Health. And my role on this project was to partner with the talent management team, take the requirements that they were giving to us, around the performance and merit process, and implementing them into Workday to get a digital solution for all of our employees.
Great. And Missy, you started to sort of introduce what you were looking to accomplish with this change, and you originally had a paper process around performance, and you certainly did more than just move it from paper to a digital process. Can you talk about what changes you made and how that impacted your overall performance approach?
Absolutely. And to your point, we were very much living off of paper, but we were, as our organization has grown, we had many different ways of approaching performance, and we were looking for something that would unite all of our physicians, our advanced practice providers, our frontline, and our leaders. And Workday allowed us to move from a very cumbersome paper process that we really didn't have a good line of sight on. We couldn't tell whether they were being completed on time or even if they were being turned in. We had no way of tracking, which is really important in a highly regulated industry, to know that you've got compliance pieces without having to chase people down. So we wanted something automated, and we wanted something that was easy. When you're trying to move a good performance conversation forward at a single point in time, you need the tools and the resources on the back engine to not get in the way. You need it to support the process. Is really what we worked with Kevin's team to do, say, how do we take and create a robust conversation guide that we can bring to our leaders, to our employees through a self-evaluation, opening that opportunity to them, and then really making sure that we are looking at how all of our team members align to system level goals, and can we give clear line of sight? Because a lot of times you'll have goals that are out there and the leaders know them, but your front line do not. By placing things into Workday, everybody is working toward the same end and everybody has visibility into it.
That's a really great point of having that visibility across the organization to the goals, and everyone can work towards that. And did you get some feedback from both your people leaders and your employees in terms of the change in the experience, and what did they have to say as you rolled out this performance management process?
We were concerned, and Kevin can share this, as we're moving to a focal point from a independent time where I was being measured on my anniversary date We thought that we were going to have some trepidation from the organization. We heard that people may not be as technologically savvy as we would need them to be to leverage an online tool. And it was anything else but that. People welcomed it. They loved the ease. They loved that they could complete their self-evaluation off of their mobile device. They really welcomed the fact that they could see it after they had it submitted and that it wasn't just lost into a personnel file that they never had access to again. And they very much liked the alignment across the whole of house. Our leaders appreciated that it was easy. Came to their inbox. They didn't have to go and find a form off of a internet someplace. They could go into Workday. The task was there waiting for them. They could complete it on time and have the conversation with their employee around what matters. And from a performance point of view, that's really what we want. Not a form, we want a conversation. And Workday is able to facilitate that conversation for our leaders in a very easy way. So the feedback has been well received. We didn't get any pushback.
That's great.
Very pleased.
And Kevin, you mentioned that you led the project to help implement this within Workday. Can you talk a little bit about the benefits the organization received, and then how you're able to use Workday to help realize this project?
Yeah, absolutely. As Missy mentioned, visibility was a big win with this project. Whereas before with the paper process, we didn't have a lot of visibility into where things stood as far as our people, have they done their self-evaluation? Is it with the manager? Has the manager had that conversation with the employee yet? And with the visibility, it really came into play earlier this year when the COVID crisis hit, which was in the middle of our merit and performance process. And at that time, we were able to have line of sight into the entire process and determine, where people were, if they were in the self-evaluation process, if the manager was in the process of completing it, or had they had that conversation with the employee already. So having that line of sight, especially for our clinical folks who are on the front line treating COVID patients, it allowed us to really adjust and allow those folks to have a longer period and change the due date on a lot of these so they can kind of, they can still focus on patient care at the time and not have to worry about, am I going to turn in my performance evaluation on time? So that was a really big win for our organization because, like I mentioned, with the paper process, we would have had no clue where these people really stood in the process. So having that line of sight was a big win. As Missy mentioned as well, we went to a focal merit and an annual evaluation. So consolidating our quarterly evaluation and merit process into one process, it allowed our leaders to have line of sight into their budget when they're completing merit at the end of the year, all at one time. It also allowed them to, complete the merit process all at once. The performance process all at once, which was a big win because it takes a lot of time when they're completing it quarterly. If they just do it all at once, they're evaluating all their employees, on the same goals and same standards throughout the organization. So that was another big win that we had with that. We were also able to leverage the Workday Design Studio and create automated merit statements for our employees. So once that process was completed, we had a nice merit statement that was generated within Workday that allowed employees to kind of see what their merit was and their overall evaluation. So it just having an access of their evaluation at any time, being able to see where it is in a process was just a huge win. And the transparency is one of the biggest things that we kind of sell here at Ochsner with our Workday system.
Great. Yeah, no, I loved hearing some of the use of mobile and the inbox for the visibility for the employees, and then the visibility to the people leaders. And I'm sure the visibility all the way up into the HR department as well.
Right. Yeah, just the capability of being able to run reports and kind of be able to report out on our compliance. We have over a 99% compliance rate with our evaluations this year, which is amazing because a lot of times with the paper process, like Missy mentioned, people don't like going out to the website and trying to find the form that they have to fill out and do it all, manually through Word or, so it's nice to have it all digital this year.
Great. Thanks,
I would
Kevin.
add to that is on our paper form, if we made any change year over year, you would still have forms that were being submitted that were maybe dated from 2 years prior because the leader had already started working on that and just carried the same paper template forward. Now what we are able to extend through Workday, we know everybody has the right information. So when we to flex for 2020 year end to talk about contributions by an employee in light of COVID, we can do that, and we know everybody has the same question set that they're working from.
Right.
That's great. It's sort of a single source of truth and a single
far more
process.
consistent.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, so Missy, any final thoughts to share with other organizations considering a similar type of project?
I recognize that it's truly a collaborative effort. So the time to partner well internally. We partner great with our HRIS team. Kevin and his team has been an incredible resource to us, and leaning into Workday community group, being able to meet other organizations who have wrestled with a similar challenge and how they might have solved it. And then how can we do that? And then certainly get the internal buy-in. We ran a number of focus groups with our frontline employees, with our leaders, to make sure they knew what we were intending to do and to get their insight and their input on final design, because that makes a difference. You end up with a way of measuring engagement, calculating merit, and everybody's in agreement. So you prevent the noise at back end. Once it's launched, it's not just something that HR has put upon people.
Right.
It is something that HR has thoughtfully engaged in with key stakeholders to create, to co-create.
And Kevin, from the HRIS perspective, what advice or guidance would you give to others?
Yeah, I test is probably the biggest thing, but that's with anything that you do in a system. But to Missy's point, the buy-in and engagement was big. She included our team early on, which was really important because we were able to understand what the ask was and really kind of hear from we ran a bunch of focus groups with leaders and frontline employees to kind of understand their needs and make sure they understood what our process or what we were proposing to do in the system. Because one of the big things that we did, and I didn't mention it earlier, was we aligned our performance ratings with our leaders as well. And then in addition, since we were consolidating from a quarterly process, performance and merit process, we were also able to leverage Workday to allow us to prorate those different groups to make sure that the employees were made whole in the merit process for this transition year. And then going forward, we'll have our standard, percentages based on the ratings. So I think that was really, really big to kind of make sure that our employees and our leaders could understand that and can communicate that to, to their peers or to their employees when they're having that discussion. But like I said, testing was critical, and a strong change management process where communication was really key, because we partnered a lot with our internal communications team to make sure that, employees and leaders were in the know throughout the entire process. And, there wasn't going to be many surprises, there at the end. So,
yeah, that's great. I love hearing about the partnership between your two groups to really solve an important problem in your organization. So really great advice, Kevin and Missy, and thanks for sharing how you're innovating. And thanks also for being a Workday customer and all your involvement and participation in the community. So once again, congratulations to Ochsner Health on winning the Digital Transformation Award. Thanks, everyone.